All right. Good morning, FFA. Hey, who's ready to kick off this Friday morning and wrap this week up with a bang? So many of you guys are off to such a great start this week. To all the new faces at FFA, welcome to the team. So much growth, so much excitement. Couldn't be more excited to see the momentum that all of you guys have going into this August, going into the rest of this year. And hey, it's never been a better time to be an agent, especially here at FFA, as you guys continue to make waves. So go ahead, post where you're at so far for this week. How far are you guys from your goal that you posted on Monday? I want to hear from you on today's call to wrap up our presentation series. I'm going to dive into part 3, which is the close, the carrier review, and how to close to where you're actually closing people and you're not getting hit with objection after objection and all this crazy stuff, right? That seems to come up at the end of the presentation. We're going to talk about how to beat it, all right, and how to actually close that deal. There's nothing worse than doing buying leads, number 1, doing a good door approach, number 2, getting in the house, number 3, and then you do everything, you get to the end of the presentation, all right, and you just can't close it, right? You can't do anything. So we're going to talk about that. All right, if you've been an agent who has struggled getting them to sign the dotted line and be finished up with it, today's call is definitely going to help you out. As we jump into today's call, all right, check it out. A verse that really kind of always speaks to me, but one that I thought would be a great one to wrap up this week. Dives into this story, okay, and I'm not going to go over the whole verse, right? But think about this story when Jesus was preaching, when he was walking through the villages, right? And the one girl, can't remember her name, but I know you guys can, drop it in the comments. She had touched his cloak, right? And instantly he felt that. And he had turned around and he was like, who touched me? And it was this girl who thought if she could just touch him barely, how her life would be changed. And the apostles, right, were like defending him, like, how dare you touch him? And he's like, no, wait. Look at how much faith that she had. All right. And I remember, guys, I went to Israel in 2013. Yeah, 2013, might have been 2014. 2013 or 2014, one of those. And I remember going to this church that they had built around the mountain that they assumed was the mountain that Jesus was crucified on. And I believe it's called the Church of Christ. You can look it up. It's in Israel. And as you go into this church, the church is built right around this mountain. And inside of it, you can actually see through a glass case the hole that was in the mountain, that they expect that hole to be where the cross was actually put in. And then also in the entrance of the church, there's this stone, and it's almost like it's built into the mountain at this point. And when I walked up to it, there was just people just weeping over that stone, because that is a specific spot that they said Mary cleaned Jesus's body off when they took him off of the cross. And if you look at where that stone is compared to where the hole, like in the church, is that shows where the cross was put in, it's like relatively close distance. It makes sense that that's actually where that would have taken place. But I actually felt something like when you touch that stone, it's like a supernatural feeling. And people were just weeping around this stone. And it reminded me of that verse of the girl who touched him and he felt that power kind of leave his body and saw that she was healed. And so the reason I'm sharing that with you guys is because I do believe that God can make waves in your life. And I believe that if you really let everything go up to him, you would be shocked at what he's capable of doing for you. And sometimes we restrict him because we doubt what he's actually capable of. And as you go into this weekend, as you go into this career, as you go into the rest of this journey of your life, right? Of course, it's not all going to be rainbows and sunshine, but that power that girl got, right, when she touched him, or the power I seen when people were touching that stone at that church, is available to you right now. And you just got to tune into it a little bit. So think about that as you go into this weekend. But let's jump into this training call. All right. Policy review. How do you do it? All right. Number 1, guys, Call the carrier. That's really all I should have to say on this slide. Call the carrier. I don't care if you have to wait on hold for 15 minutes. If you're not calling, you're missing sales. It is worth it to wait on hold to get the actual details of that booklet. All right. Guys, if somebody brings you a booklet, that was the booklet when they took their insurance out. It doesn't tell you if there's loans on the plan. It doesn't tell you if Miss Betty missed her payment 5 times in a row and that baby is lapsed. It doesn't tell you anything other than at some point in time she signed up for insurance. The booklet's good to get the carrier name, but you have got to call the carrier and get this information. All right, guys, we don't have enough time on today's call to go over every single line item here. All right, that's something you can do with your coach. I know that they know it. I know that they'll explain it all to you, how reduced paid up works, how extended term works, cost of a UL, all of that stuff. Get with your coach. They will explain it to you. But guys, as a brand new agent, I didn't know what any of this meant. But one thing I was really good at is I would ask the carrier on that call, what's the death benefit? What's the policy number? What's the cash value? And I would write it down, right? And I'd get with my coach and they'd explain it. Alicia, right? Shout out to her. She'd explain what this means to me and my client. And then boom, I knew what I was doing. But I always got the information, guys. You would be so surprised at how Miss Betty tells you she's got 50,000. She's paying $20 a month. She's had it for 50 years. It's perfect. And you call the carrier and it lapsed 10 years ago. I mean, it happened to me more times than not. Very, very rarely does the client have what they think they have. All right. My own dad, shout out to my dad if he's watching this, had a term policy, all right, from when we lived in New York. And it was with a carrier. I won't name the specific carrier on the call, but it was with a carrier. And my dad swore that it had return of premium. It was a $100,000 term. And at the end of that term, he was getting all his money back. He swore it for like 2 years. Finally, right? I got licensed in 2018. Finally, in like 2020, he let me call the company, right? And Alicia called the carrier. We were in his living room. And she said, no, is he getting all his money back? And they were like, no, it says I have return of premium. My dad was pissed. He was so mad. All right. But he thoroughly remembers that agent that sold him that plan telling him he was getting all his money back. So why do I share that story with you guys? Clients are misled. They're told the wrong thing just so they buy something. And maybe they're just confused. Maybe they were told the right thing and they just don't remember anymore. All right, which is often the case too. You have to ask them. All right, you have to ask the carrier. You've got to get the confirmation because, guys, 8 out of 10 clients are telling you the wrong thing. Not on purpose. They genuinely, think that that's what it is. But you'd be shocked. You call that carrier. No, Ryan, Miss Betty has 5,000, not 50. All right, 5. And Miss Betty's over there like jaw drop, like, what the heck? I thought I had 50. You just sold the policy, right? But you didn't sell it. If you don't call the carrier and get that confirmation, Miss Betty thinks she's got 50K for $20. You're not selling her anything. All right. So make sure you call and get this information. The other reason, guys, is because this tells you how you can actually help your client. All right. If Miss Betty's 85 years old and I call this company and she's had the policy for 3 years, it's 10K. She's paying $50 a month. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. She's outside the contestability period. I'm not replacing that, right? I'm going to high five Miss Betty. That's a great policy. Keep it. Don't let anybody change it on you. But let's look at adding on maybe 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 so that you have enough coverage. Guys, your clients will appreciate you so much if you actually tell them the truth and they have a great plan and you're like, Miss Betty, I love this plan for you. Keep that thing. But you really should look at adding on 2K. 10K is not going to be enough. They will always, because you're so genuine to them, go for it. Like they're going to listen to you, right? So guys, if you're not calling the carrier, you're doing such a disservice to your client and such a disservice to yourself. Don't take the booklet. Don't take their word. Pick up that phone and call the company. If they don't know what company they have, check their bank statement. If they don't have a bank statement, call the bank. Who's drafting Miss Betty? She's here to give you permission to talk to me. Figure it out. You owe it to your client. What if they're in a waiting period and they don't know it? You know, they're telling you they're good. They took out so-and-so company on TV. They swear it's good. You call them and yeah, it's great. It's a 2-year wait. She's perfectly healthy. She shouldn't be in a 2-year wait. So guys, make sure you're doing this right. Spend time, right? Spend the time. It is worth it. If I didn't do this, guys, when I was in the field full time, I wouldn't have sold 3/4 of the policies I've sold because you would be shocked at how much information pops up on these carrier review calls that if I just looked at the booklet or I just asked the client, I would have never known. So make sure you're calling. It's worth the time. Now, if you call a carrier and the hold time is 2 hours, all right, maybe we're gonna have to figure something out here, right? But if it's up to 20 minutes, small talk for 20 minutes, it's worth your time. All right. So that's the carrier review. There's so much that you can do with this, guys. Cash value, extended term, paid up insurance. It provides an angle to help your client out. But you got to get those details for us to know how we can help you and how you can help your client. Okay, next slide. How much coverage do you need? Guys, I'm not spending a lot of time on this, but I want people to understand that life insurance is the most undersold thing that people buy. Everybody needs more insurance if they have it already. And if they don't have it, they really need a specific amount. Okay. What happens if they pass away? What happens to the mortgage payment? Can Miss Betty on one income versus two afford that mortgage when her husband passes away? I don't know. Maybe they need more insurance. Maybe they need enough to pay for a burial, but they also need enough to cover her mortgage for the next 15 years that they just took out a reverse mortgage on, right? Guys, it's very important. When you create value, people will purchase what you're offering. There's no value, there's no reason for them to buy it, right? Like, think about that. Creditors come after estates a lot. All right. So if Miss Betty's like, yeah, my house is paid for, but I got a $50,000 credit card, you better believe that credit card company is coming after that house value to take it from the kids when she passes away. So there's things that they've got to protect. All right. And like our very first slide, that's our mission, is to protect their financial legacy for them and for their family. Talk about how much things cost. Guys, $10,000 benefit is not getting you very far for a burial in today's world. 15K, we're doing better. 20K, we're ideal. So make sure you're talking about these things. All right. This beefs up the next slide, and a plan that fits your need and your budget. So guys, how do you close deals? Believe it or not, you don't close it off the benefit amount, because if you ask your client how much coverage they want to have, right? You put 15, 20, 25, whatever, and none of those fit inside their budget, they're going to tell you to get lost. Okay. It's just like if I'm house shopping, like I said on the earlier call this week, and my realtor takes me to a $50 million house, but the most my mortgage can be is, I don't know, whatever, $300,000 house. Why am I looking at a $40 million house? I can't pay for it, right? Don't waste your client's time. Don't give them false expectations. You need to sell the plan that they can pay for, and you can figure the benefit out later. So how do I do that? It's simple. I'm looking at Miss Betty. She's looking at me. I'm saying, hey, Miss Betty, look, I've loved getting to spend time with you today. You know, we've gone through the whole presentation. You've seen all the options to you. We did our call to close, right? Miss Alicia said you qualify for XYZ company, which is great. It's going to really help you out. But let me ask you this. Is it manageable for you to pay $150 to $200 a month for your life insurance? You're paying $70 right now, but you know you needed more. Is $150 to $200 manageable? And if she looks at me and she says, yes, I'm going to put $150, $175, $200, figure out what benefits she can get. I'm going to use the insurance toolkits for that. I'm going to show her. I'm going to say, awesome. Which one do you want to get approved for? But once she commits to a budget and it's manageable, the deal's sold. She's not going to say, I can't pay for that, right? Let's say she's like, heck no, Ryan, I'm on a fixed income. I can't pay that. I'm going to bump it down. Say, all right, Miss Hey, I get it. Like, no hard feelings there. What about 100 to like 120? Is that better? Let's say she's like, heck no, I can't pay that. I can, I can't do that. I'll be like, okay, what about 80 to like 90? That's probably better, right? Yeah, that's better. I could swing that. Awesome. I'm going to put 80, 85, and 90. Show her the benefit amount, right? Miss Betty, bumping you up to 90. This is how much coverage you're going to get. Which one of these do you want to get approved for? Let them pick, okay? When you sell off of their budget, you close it. The minute Miss Betty says, I can swing 50 to 60 bucks a month, it's closed. Like there should literally be no objections after that if you did this right. All right. But if you go off the benefit amount and you're like 15, 20, 25, and they're all 150 bucks, 180, 200, you can't pay for that. You're not going to sell anything, right? Because now she was thinking she wanted 20. It's 180 bucks a month. She can't afford it. She don't want nothing under 20. All right. And you show her a 5,000, which is in her real budget. And she's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So make sure you're selling off of budget first, benefit second. Benefit doesn't matter if your client can't pay for it, right? Just like cars, guys. You go to the car lot, right? And here's a story for you guys. So I have a truck problem. Okay, I'll admit it. If there was a group that could help people that trade their trucks in too much, I needed to go to it, right? Alicia can attest to that. But anyway, I go to car dealerships all the time, like multiple times a week to look at trucks just because I like doing it and drives Alicia crazy. But anyway, I have to have a truck, okay, that has a flip up seat in the front row. Why do I need that? I have 4 kids. All right. If it has the fancy center console, I love it. Looks great. I'd love to have it. I can't buy it because I have to have a seat for my kid because I can't fit the whole family in a truck that only has 5 seats. I need 6. So I went to the truck dealership one time and I was talking to the guy and that's what I said. I said, hey, look, this is what I need. A truck that's got a flip up seat. If you don't have it, no big deal. I'll come back when you get some in, but I don't want to look at anything else. I'm not kidding you. This joker took me to every one of the most expensive trucks on the lot because that's what he wanted to get paid a commission on. And all of them had the center console, which I would love to buy. I could afford it. I would love to buy it, but it makes no sense. I can't fit my kids in there. Right. So after like the 3rd truck he showed me, I'm like, look, dude, I told you what I needed. I can't use that. It's useless to me. I love it. It looks good. It's useless. I went to a different dealership, right? And bought the truck I needed. Had he showed me what I actually needed, I would have bought it. But he didn't because he was more focused on himself. That's what you look like when you're trying to sell Miss Betty a policy that she can't afford because she's on a fixed income. Give her one she can afford. She can bump it up down the road, add to it later. But guys, that's how you close deals is you structure it within their budget. All right. It doesn't matter what it looks like. They have to afford it. They have to be able to pay for it and not be stressed out about it, or all you're going to get is a chargeback. All right. And nobody wants that. So sell off the budget. Don't be afraid to talk about money to people. People like that. People like knowing what their limitations are. And they don't like being sold stuff that they can't afford. Right. So I don't care if Miss Betty can. I give my clients, whether they pay $10 a month or $300, the same attention, the same quality, the same customer service. I don't care what they can afford. I care that they can afford it. It's not going to stress them out each month. And I care that they're going to keep it because it's not about what you write. It's about what stays on the books that matters. So if you've never tried to close a deal going off the budget, I would highly encourage you to do that. It's going to be a game changer for you. You're going to start slinging policies left and right. You're going to have less chargebacks, less missed draft payments, and it's going to make your life a lot easier as an agent. All right. And then the last slide, guys, referrals. This is one we all forget. Let's be honest. We just went through an hour-long presentation. We're tired. The client's tired. Last thing you want to do is talk about referrals, but I promise you, it will add a significant chunk of change to your deposits. It will add a significant increase in your persistency, because when you sell multiple people in one family, they all tend to keep it, and you're going to help out the family. So it's real simple. Excuse me. Real simple. At the end of the presentation, I'm just going to say, hey, Miss Betty, look, I know if somebody was talking to my mom, I would want to know who it was. So I would love to be able to reach out to your family, reach out to your kids you were telling me about, just introduce myself, make sure that they have my information. God forbid anything happens, they know who to call. They're not trying to sift through, folders that you got locked away in the lockbox. They just have my phone number. They know to call me. So I'd love to reach out to them, introduce myself, talk to them about how I was able to help you. And if they need help with their insurance, I'd love to be your entire family's agent too. Would you mind just putting their phone numbers on this page for me? Guys, they're going to do it. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to call them up. Maybe not right then and there, right? Depending. But a lot of times your client's going to be like, my sister needs insurance. My brother needs it. My kids need it. Get them on the phone. They're coming over. Come back on Tuesday, right? You can write everybody up. That's usually what happens when you go over this slide. So don't forget it. But if I get the phone numbers, guys, it's going to be simple. Let's say Miss Betty's son is on there. The only person she has in her family, right? I'm just going to call him up. Hey, Mr. Jack. Hey, this is Ryan. I know you don't know me. Just wanted to introduce myself. Your mom really needed help with her insurance. She wanted to leave you X amount of coverage. We got it all fixed up for her. But I know, it's a skeptical world out there. If anyone was talking to my mom, I'd want to know who it is. So I just want you to have my information. Make sure you know everything's legit. If you guys ever need anything, let me know. And if you ever need help with your coverage, I'd love to swing by, introduce myself, and help you out. Guys, your client's family will love you for doing that. They're not going to tell you to cancel it. They're going to love you for being so upfront and honest. And you would be amazed at how many more sales you'll get in a week when you're that kind of agent. So very simple, guys. That's the presentation. Don't overcomplicate it. Supposed to be fun, supposed to be energetic. Have fun with your client. You're going to do big things. Go back and watch these videos over the week and become a powerful presenter. You can only control what you can control in this business, and how good you are at presenting is one of those things, whether you're a brand new agent or experienced, you'll get better with practice. So appreciate you guys. Let's go wrap up the week strong today and tomorrow, and we will be back here on Monday.